Many salutations. I am Tatsumari, and welcome to Observations. Well, after a bit of a break, I was able to finish a fanfiction of mine for Sly Cooper. It took me a bit longer than I would have liked, but I was finally able to finish it. If you wish to check it out, there is a link in the description below. Now, on to the topic at hand. Daybreaker in the episode A Royal Problem. How exactly did she appear in Starlight Glimmer's dream? Did Starlight's mind run away with her dream when she saw Celestia? I think we can all remember at least one dream where something hyper weird happened. Or was it something else? Did Celestia affect the dream? Well, let's see what we can find out. First, we're going to have to begin with Luna. As I've said before in Observations 3, I think Luna's powers help her to align her brain's wavelength to another pony's so that she can enter a dream. While she may be waiting for a pony to need her, her mind could be waiting in the dream realm. I also believe her powers allow her to scan all ponies' thoughts at one time and provide her with a surface-level glimpse of what they dream. Luna's version of the dream realm appears as an endless hallway of doors, as seen in the episode Bloom and Gloom, which doesn't allow her to clearly see what's going on, but will enable her to hear what is happening. Its appearance may also have something to do with her personality. However, we'll get to that later. When Luna opens a door, her power could be fine-tuning her mind's wavelength, much like tuning a radio, so that she can see and interact with the pony in question. Traipsing through another pony's mind would mean that at some point in her life, Luna would have had to study psychology to a notable degree. Perhaps not doctorate or psychiatrist levels, but a firm understanding nonetheless. Entering another pony's dream would also mean that Luna needed to learn to keep her own emotions and thoughts in check at all times, as dreamwalking may be opening up her subconscious mind for a better connection. If she didn't, it could ultimately influence the mind she is entering in negative ways, regardless of intentions. Luna is fully awake, but the mind of the pony whose dream she entered is not, and only the subconscious mind is working during dreaming for that pony. To someone untrained, this could easily lead to deep, hidden-away thoughts, emotions, and wounds being released upon the dreaming pony. In all her interactions with the CMC, it appears to me that Luna is somewhat detached in all her interactions in a dream. She is, however, far from being cold. I would even say that she is professionally friendly, where one can express polite attitudes and assistance, but keep any personal connection at a far distance. So why did I spend 390 words talking about Luna when we're here to talk about Celestia? Because Celestia doesn't have the kind of training that Luna has taken on when it comes to the mind, especially a sleeping mind. While Celestia was granted Luna's powers for the day, the first hints of her personality buckling under the responsibility given to her came after she realized she was alone in her work. In the scene where she is standing on the balcony and watches everyone go to sleep, she catches herself talking to herself, and immediately follows that realization up with, quote, "But there's no one else to talk to." This statement almost seems like one of desperation when coupled with her facial expression. The remedy, she decides, would be to talk to ponies in their dreams. Now it is here where the former princess's personalities begin to express themselves a bit more. Luna's version of the dream realm, as I said before, is viewed as an endless hall of doors. Being that Luna is, to some degree, an introvert, her version may be a way of allowing others to have some privacy from her, and there is no other place more private than one's mind. She will only step into a dream if a pony is having a nightmare or unable to rectify some thought which she would be able to hear through any of the doors. By contrast, Celestia's dream realm is a cascade of small orbs, all showing what happens to be going on in a pony's mind at the time. Being on the extroverted side, Celestia could be craving the companionship of another. So, having all the thoughts of the ponies connected to her would be like looking over a crowd, scanning it for someone or a group that may be doing something interesting that she could go and participate in. So what if it's another pony's mind that she'd be diving into? She wants someone to interact with. And since extroverts, in general, tend to have a tiny personal space bubble in waking life, this could be translating to her dream realm appearance. While in this dream realm, Celestia happens to see Starlight having a nightmare and jumps right in. To her knowledge, she is following her protocol of, quote, saving ponies from their nightmares. And that is just fine, but that's where it stops. As you recall, I said earlier that Luna has learned to keep her thoughts and emotions in check. From what I can tell, Celestia hasn't undertaken this kind of training in any capacity. She may have had training in keeping her emotions in check for diplomacy reasons in the waking world, but for the level of dreamwalking, she has had none. Luna didn't even give her a crash course in Dreamwalking 101. Not long after entering Starlight's dream, Nightmare Moon and ultimately Daybreaker appear. As we have seen in the past, the choice to banish Luna to the moon has weighed heavily on Celestia and possibly left some emotional scars as well. Tie that together with her lack of training to keep her emotions and thoughts of her subconscious mind in check and away from the dreaming pony's mind, and voila! A cocktail of raw, uninhibited feelings and negative thoughts from her subconscious boiling over into Starlight's dream where they ultimately take on a life of their own. Keep in mind that just like Luna, Celestia's mind is awake and well aware of what's going on around her, but Starlight's mind is running on pure subconscious and much more receptive to outside influence. If this is true, not only is Starlight being bombarded by her mind for possibly making the wrong choice and switching cutie marks, she is also now being flooded with Celestia's yet unresolved thoughts. With no knowledge of how to deal with this or how to find the root problem, Celestia summons Luna from her nightmare, who reveals that if Celestia doesn't stop the fight between Daybreaker and Nightmare Moon, it would have, quote, grave consequences on Starlight's psyche. Starlight may still have lingering issues about being put in a leadership role, per the Season 6 finale, and while she was awake, Starlight was already questioning her choice, which was manifesting itself as a barrage nightmare. Now with Celestia's unresolved pain leaking into Starlight, it is all combining into what we see here. What Luna may have been hinting to is that she has had this happen in the past, where she didn't rein in her emotions and thoughts enough, and may even still be trying to help this particular pony to undo all that happened to her while she dreamed. Luna would immediately know what is happening, and could have been telling Celestia to rein in her own emotions and thoughts. Daybreaker may even represent how Celestia may see herself as a monster for banishing Luna to the moon for 1,000 years. There is a line that Daybreaker says that puts it all in a different perspective. Oh please, you don't need any pony. You can do whatever you want, and all you have to do is get rid of any pony who stands in your way. Why would Daybreaker say this? If Celestia saw herself as a monster for banishing Luna, then all his statements aimed at Luna would make sense. For instance, if Luna can turn into Nightmare Moon, then you can absolutely turn into me, Daybreaker. Or, deep inside you know how powerful you are, you don't need Luna, and I should have destroyed you. All of this to me points to Celestia seeing herself as a monster for the banishment. However, the line about not needing anyone makes me think that for a time, while she was sad about Luna's exile, she was riding a power high. We have heard Pinkie Pie say something about a friendship high after using the elements of harmony to defeat the Pony of Shadows, so perhaps this also affected Celestia after using the elements herself to banish Nightmare Moon. Coupled with the adoration and thankfulness of all Equestria for Nightmare Moon's defeat, it's possible she felt this power high and warred with herself in deciding to conquer other lands. We are never given a definite point in time where Celestia's connection to the elements stopped, and for all we know, it could have been right after banishing Luna, a sort of punishment for using the element's power for separation rather than unification. All of these thoughts could have been something Celestia was battling against. She eventually would have pushed them deep in her mind, but were never fully dispersed as the needs of Equestria were of a higher priority. Personal problems would have to wait. And since Celestia was never taught to rein in her thoughts and emotions and keep her mind walled off, all of her suppressed thoughts and feelings would come bubbling to the forefront, as her subconscious would be far more open, thus manifesting in Starlight's nightmare as Nightmare Moon and Daybreaker. I believe that this particular sequence of the episode isn't so much about stepping into another's shoes, as the episode in its entirety is about, but rather it's about Celestia coming to terms with deeply suppressed thoughts and emotions. Starlight just happened to be the catalyst by which it happened, which if it wasn't resolved as quickly as it was, Starlight could have been deeply traumatized. And in the end, it seems that Celestia was able to corral at least this part of her mind before it permanently affected Starlight. So in short, the appearance of Nightmare Moon and Daybreaker in Starlight's dream is the result of Celestia's lack of keeping her thoughts and emotions in check, as well as how she views herself for the role she played in Luna's banishment. But those are my thoughts. What do you think? Even though the series as a whole has come to an end, is there a possibility that Daybreaker could make a return appearance? And if she does, what would be the circumstances that trigger it? Let me know in the comments below. If you wish to become a coin in my vault, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're looking for more observations, check the description below for the playlist containing all my observations so far. I'm going to try and keep this series on a bi-weekly release schedule and see about getting some other poses, and perhaps even show you some of my other elemental forms. But we'll see. So until next time, my friends.